Dr. Marcus Thompson stood on the balcony of his apartment in Muscat's Al Kuram district, watching the sun set behind the dramatic mountains that surrounded Oman's capital city. At 40, the petroleum engineer from Houston had spent the past year working for the Sultanate's national oil company, managing exploration projects in the vast desert interior. But nothing in his professional experience had prepared him for the profound cultural awakening that awaited him in this ancient land, where trade routes had connected civilizations for millennia. Marcus's journey to Oman had begun with career advancement and a desire to escape the emptiness that had consumed his life since his divorce 2 years earlier. His marriage to his college sweetheart had ended amicably but painfully when they realized that their shared ambitions for professional success had left no room for the family they had once planned to build together. With no children and few ties to Houston beyond his work, Marcus had jumped at the opportunity to lead oil exploration projects in the Middle East. Oman had surprised him from the moment he arrived. Unlike the glittering modernity of Dubai or the conservative restrictions he had expected in the Gulf region, the Sultanate presented a unique blend of ancient Arabian culture and progressive development that seemed to honor tradition while embracing beneficial change. The people were warm and welcoming, the landscapes were breathtakingly beautiful, and the work was challenging in ways that reminded him why he had chosen engineering as a career. His assignment involved establishing new drilling operations in the Rub al-Khali, the vast empty quarter desert that stretched across the Arabian Peninsula, but also required extensive coordination with local communities and government officials to ensure that development projects respected both environmental concerns and cultural sensitivities. It was during a community consultation meeting in the coastal town of Sur that Marcus first encountered the three sisters who would transform his understanding of love, family, and the possibilities for happiness in a culture vastly different from his own. The meeting was being held to discuss the environmental and economic impacts of a proposed offshore drilling platform, and local residents were invited to share their concerns and suggestions. The Al-Zahra sisters were among the most articulate and knowledgeable participants in the discussion, demonstrating expertise in marine biology, environmental law, and traditional fishing practices that impressed both Marcus and the other international consultants. All three women wore traditional Omani dress but spoke fluent English and displayed the kind of confident professionalism that characterized Oman's educated elite. Fatima Al-Zahra was the eldest at 32, a marine biologist who had completed her PhD at Sultan Qaboos University and worked as a consultant for environmental protection agencies throughout the Gulf region. She possessed the intellectual rigor and cultural sophistication that came from being educated in both traditional Omani values and contemporary scientific methods. Her sister Aisha was 29. A lawyer who specialized in international business law and environmental regulations. She had studied at Oxford University before returning to Oman to work on legal frameworks that could balance economic development with cultural preservation and environmental protection. The youngest sister, Mariam, was 26 and worked as a cultural preservation specialist with the Ministry of Tourism, documenting traditional Omani crafts, music, and storytelling while developing programs that could share this heritage with international visitors in respectful and authentic ways. All three sisters came from a prominent Omani family with roots dating back to the maritime trading empire that had made Oman wealthy and cosmopolitan for centuries. Their father was a successful businessman who had built a shipping company that connected Oman to markets throughout Asia and Africa, while their mother was a respected educator who had been among the first generation of Omani women to attend university. Marcus was immediately impressed by their knowledge, Their articulate presentation of concerns about environmental protection, and their sophisticated understanding of the complex relationships between economic development and cultural preservation. During the meeting, they presented detailed proposals for ensuring that oil exploration projects would not damage coral reefs or interfere with traditional fishing grounds. Mr. Thompson, Fatima said after the formal meeting had concluded, "We would like to invite you to visit our research station to see firsthand the marine ecosystems that could be affected by your drilling operations. We believe that better understanding of local environmental conditions will help your company make decisions that benefit both economic and ecological goals." Marcus was struck by their diplomatic approach and their obvious expertise. "I would be honored to learn from your research. Environmental protection is a priority for our operations, and local knowledge is essential for making good decisions." Over the following weeks, as Marcus worked with the Al-Zahra sisters to understand the environmental implications of various drilling scenarios, he found himself increasingly impressed by their individual expertise and their remarkable ability to work together as a team. Each sister brought different knowledge and perspectives, but they functioned as a cohesive unit that could address complex problems from multiple angles. More importantly, Marcus was developing deep respect and growing affection for the women as individuals. Despite their youth compared to his 40 years, they possessed wisdom about environmental science, legal frameworks, and cultural dynamics that came from being educated in both traditional Omani knowledge and contemporary international perspectives. Fatima proved invaluable for understanding marine ecosystems and developing protocols that could minimize environmental damage from drilling operations. Her research on coral reef protection and fish population dynamics provided scientific foundations for environmental safeguards that went beyond legal requirements to ensure genuine ecosystem protection. Aisha's legal expertise was essential for navigating the complex regulatory frameworks that governed international oil operations in Omani waters. Understanding of both Islamic law and international environmental standards helped Marcus develop operational procedures that satisfied multiple legal systems while maintaining efficiency and profitability. Mariam's cultural knowledge proved equally important for ensuring that development projects respected traditional fishing practices and community customs that had sustained coastal communities for generations. Her work documenting traditional ecological knowledge revealed sustainable practices that could be incorporated into modern environmental management. "You approach our culture differently than most foreign engineers," Aisha observed during one of their collaboration sessions. "Most want to impose external standards without understanding local conditions. You seem genuinely interested in learning how to work within our cultural and environmental contexts." Marcus found himself sharing more about his background and philosophy than he typically did with professional colleagues. He told the sisters about his environmental engineering training, his growing interest in sustainable development practices, and his respect for cultures that had successfully balanced human activities with natural systems for centuries. As months passed and their professional collaboration deepened, Marcus's relationships with the three sisters evolved beyond business partnerships. They began including him in family celebrations, introducing him to broader networks of Omani professionals and intellectuals, and gradually treating him as a friend rather than just a foreign colleague. The turning point came during the celebration of Eid al-Fitr, marking the end of Ramadan, when the Al-Zahra family invited Marcus to participate in their traditional feast and cultural ceremonies. The event included elaborate preparations of Omani cuisine, traditional music performances, and family gatherings that showcased the warmth and sophistication of contemporary Omani society. During the celebration, which lasted for 3 days and included visits from extended family and friends from throughout the Gulf region, Marcus experienced the profound sense of community and cultural continuity that characterized traditional Arab hospitality enhanced by modern education and international perspectives. On the final evening of the celebration, as families gathered in the traditional majlis sitting room to share stories and discuss plans for the future, Fatima approached Marcus with her sisters beside her, all displaying obvious nervousness and excitement. "Marcus," Fatima said formally, "my sisters and I need to speak with you about something very important that concerns our feelings and our future." Marcus's heart began racing as he sensed the direction this conversation might take. Aisha continued, "We have all developed feelings for you that go beyond professional respect or friendship. We know this may seem impossible because of cultural differences and the complexities it would create, but we wanted you to know that you have touched our hearts in ways we did not expect." Marcus was stunned by their collective directness and the implications of what they were suggesting. "Ladies, I'm deeply honored by your feelings, and I have to admit that I've developed strong feelings for all of you as well. But I'm not Muslim, I'm from a completely different culture, and I don't understand how such relationships could work within Omani society." Mariam's response reflected the cultural sophistication that had characterized their professional work. Oman has always been a crossroads of cultures, and our traditions include provisions for marriages that serve to strengthen connections between different communities. What matters most is character, mutual respect, and commitment to family and community welfare. Fatima added, "More importantly, we three have always been best friends and collaborators who support each other in everything. We cannot imagine relationships that would separate us, but we believe that together we could build something that honors both your culture and ours." The proposal that emerged from their subsequent conversations was unlike anything in Marcus's experience. The three sisters, who had been inseparable friends and professional partners their entire lives, were proposing to collectively marry him, following Islamic traditions that allowed for polygamous marriages when they served the welfare of all involved parties. "We have spoken with our parents and religious advisors," Aisha explained during one of their many discussions. "Islamic law permits a man to marry multiple wives when he can provide for them equally and when such arrangements serve legitimate purposes. Our family believes that your character and your respect for our culture make you a suitable husband." Marcus requested time to consider their proposal, and the sisters graciously agreed to give him space for reflection. Over the following weeks, he found himself examining every assumption he had held about love, marriage, religion, and cultural adaptation. The practical challenges were enormous. Converting to Islam and adapting to Omani cultural expectations would require fundamental changes in his lifestyle and worldview. Managing relationships with three intelligent, accomplished women would demand emotional maturity and cultural sensitivity he wasn't sure he possessed. More importantly, Marcus was beginning to understand that he had fallen in love not just with three remarkable individuals, but with their approach to life, their integration of traditional values with contemporary knowledge, and their vision of building bridges between different cultures and belief systems. After 2 months of careful consideration, extensive study of Islamic teachings, and conversations with religious scholars and cultural advisors, Marcus made the most significant decision of his life. He would convert to Islam and marry all three sisters, following Omani customs while maintaining his professional work in ways that could benefit both his new family and the broader community. The conversion process required months of religious study and cultural preparation, guided by Islamic scholars who helped Marcus understand not just the theological principles of Islam, but also the cultural practices and social responsibilities that would shape his new life. The process was intellectually challenging, but spiritually enriching, providing frameworks for understanding purpose and community that had been missing from his previous life. The wedding ceremonies took place over several weeks, with each sister receiving individual celebrations that honored her personal achievements and family connections while also emphasizing the collective nature of their shared marriage. The events showcased the best of Omani cultural traditions with traditional music, elaborate feasts, and ceremonies that connected their union to both Islamic principles and local customs. Marcus found himself learning not just wedding rituals but the deeper cultural meanings behind each tradition. The mahr, dower, payments represented his commitment to each woman's financial security. The walima, wedding feast, emphasized community acceptance and celebration. The religious ceremonies connected their marriage to Islamic principles of family, community responsibility, and mutual care. The logistics of their married life required careful planning and sensitivity to both Islamic law and Omani cultural expectations. Marcus used his engineering income and savings to establish a compound in Muscat that provided private spaces for each wife while maintaining communal areas for family activities and shared responsibilities. The first year of marriage was challenging but ultimately successful. Marcus had to learn not just to navigate relationships with three strong-willed, accomplished women, but to adapt to Islamic practices, Omani family traditions, and Arabic language requirements that shaped every aspect of daily life. Each relationship developed its own character and rhythms. With Fatima, Marcus found intellectual partnership and shared passion for environmental protection that enhanced both their professional work. Aisha introduced him to the legal and cultural frameworks that governed Omani society while helping him understand his responsibilities as a Muslim husband and community member. Maryam provided cultural education and emotional support that helped him adapt to Omani customs while maintaining connections to his American heritage that enriched their family's international perspective. The first pregnancy announcements came 18 months after their marriages, when both Fatima and Aisha became pregnant within weeks of each other. Marcus, at 42, was overwhelmed by the prospect of becoming a father for the first time, while the sisters were excited about motherhood but concerned about balancing their professional careers with family responsibilities. "I cannot believe we are going to have children," Fatima confided to Dr. Rashida al-Bisaidi, the obstetrician who specialized in treating professional women. "We want to be good mothers while continuing our work in environmental protection." "Many successful women balance career and family," Dr. al-Bisaidi replied. "With proper support and planning, you can excel at both roles." The pregnancies proceeded according to Islamic traditions and modern medical practices, with both women receiving excellent medical care while also following cultural customs that emphasize family support and community involvement in preparing for children's arrival. Fatima delivered first, giving birth to a healthy son they named Omar Marcus, honoring both Omani heritage and his father's American name. Aisha followed with twin daughters whom they named Layla Fatima and Zara Aisha, reflecting both Arabic naming traditions and family connections. 6 months later, Maryam also became pregnant, delivering a son they named Hassan Ibrahim, combining religious significance with family honor. The arrival of 4 children within 18 months created immediate challenges but also brought tremendous joy to their household and the broader extended family. Suddenly, Marcus found himself at 43 managing the demands of oil exploration projects while helping to care for 4 infants and supporting 3 wives who were balancing motherhood with their professional careers. The challenges were substantial, but the extended family support systems and hired domestic help made the situation manageable and deeply fulfilling. The children grew up quadrilingual, speaking Arabic, English, and learning both Hindi and Swahili from domestic workers who reflected Oman's historical connections to the Indian Ocean trading network. They developed an early appreciation for both technological innovation and traditional crafts, spending their days moving between Marcus's engineering projects and their mother's environmental and cultural work. Marcus's professional career had expanded significantly with his wife's expertise and cultural connections. His understanding of local environmental conditions and cultural sensitivities made him one of the most effective foreign engineers working in the Gulf region, while his conversion to Islam and marriage into a prominent Omani family opened doors that had been closed to other international professionals. The success of their integrated approach to development allowed them to contribute significantly to sustainable energy initiatives throughout the region. They established consulting firms that specialized in environmentally responsible oil extraction and renewable energy development, while also supporting cultural preservation projects that maintained traditional knowledge alongside technological innovation. Marcus's relationship with his American family had evolved significantly over the years. His parents and siblings had initially been bewildered by his conversion to Islam and his polygamous marriage, but visits to Oman had convinced them that he had found genuine happiness and purpose in his new life. Marcus has found something he was always looking for but couldn't find in America, his sister told friends back in Houston. He's not just working in an exotic location. He's built a meaningful life that combines professional success with genuine cultural integration and family happiness. The cultural impact of their family had been substantial, serving as an example of successful American-Omani integration and demonstrating new possibilities for cross-cultural marriage that honored both Islamic principles and international professional development. Their story had inspired other Western professionals working in the Gulf to consider deeper cultural engagement and integration. Most importantly, Marcus's family had become a symbol of the deep connections that could develop between different cultures when approached with a genuine respect, religious sincerity, and commitment to understanding rather than simply adapting superficially to local customs. As Marcus approached his 50th birthday, he often reflected on the environmental consultation that had brought him to Oman seeking professional advancement. Instead, he had discovered that the most important development work involved building bridges between cultures and creating new forms of family that could serve both individual happiness and broader international understanding. The children playing in their family compound spoke languages that connected them to both American technological innovation and Omani cultural heritage. They moved between modern engineering concepts and traditional Islamic values with equal comfort, embodying the successful fusion of cultural and religious traditions that their family represented. Fatima had been promoted to Director of Marine Conservation for the Gulf Cooperation Council, while Aisha had established a legal consultancy that specialized in international environmental law. Mariam had created cultural exchange programs that brought American and European students to Oman to study traditional crafts and sustainable living practices. When I first came to Oman, Marcus told a petroleum industry magazine interviewing him about cross-cultural engineering practices, "I thought I was managing oil exploration projects. Instead, I learned about family, about the importance of integrating professional work with spiritual and cultural growth, and about the fact that love can bloom in the most unexpected cultural contexts when approached with genuine openness and respect." The three sisters often reflected on how their unconventional marriage had enhanced rather than complicated their professional ambitions and their lifelong friendship. "Many people assumed we would compete for Marcus's attention or that our careers would suffer," Fatima observed during a group interview. "Instead, sharing the responsibilities of marriage and family has allowed us to support each other's goals while creating a model for how professional women can thrive within Islamic family structures." Aisha emphasized the cultural benefits. Marcus brought international knowledge and connections that have enhanced our work, while we have shown him that Islamic culture offers frameworks for family and community life that can be deeply fulfilling for people from any background. Mariam highlighted the religious dimensions. Our marriage demonstrates that Islam can welcome sincere converts while also honoring the cultural knowledge and professional skills they bring from their original backgrounds. As the sun set over the Arabian Sea, visible from the windows of their family compound that had become a gathering place for international professionals and Omani cultural events, Marcus Thompson, now known as Mahmoud Ben Ahmad, felt the deep satisfaction of a life that had found unexpected meaning through the integration of professional calling, religious conversion, and cross-cultural love. The petroleum engineer who had come to Oman to extract oil from the desert had instead discovered that the most important extraction involved drawing wisdom and purpose from the deep wells of Islamic culture and Omani traditions. His story continued to inspire discussions about religious conversion, cross-cultural marriage, and the possibilities for finding meaning through relationships that honor both professional achievement and spiritual growth. The environmental consultation where his transformation had begun remained central to his ongoing work, but it had become much more than a technical project. It was where he had first encountered the integration of traditional knowledge and contemporary science, and where he had been welcomed into a way of life that valued both material success and spiritual fulfillment. His legacy would live on not just in the sustainable energy projects he had helped develop and the environmental protections he had implemented, but in the children who carried both American and Omani heritage, in the cross-cultural programs that continued to build bridges between different societies, and in the demonstration that love could flourish across the most significant cultural and religious differences when nurtured with respect, honoring the traditions that shape the people we choose to love. The sisters who had first caught his attention with their expertise and cultural sophistication had become his partners in proving that the human heart was capable of adaptations as profound as any religious conversion, creating new forms of family and community that honored both Islamic principles and international cooperation, while building hopefully toward a future where different cultures and religions could work together to address the challenge and Trojan, address the challenge in interconnected world.